Good morning, y'all, and welcome to the pilot episode of Texas Encounters and Mysterious Sightings. I'm your host, Lieutenant. And just let me start off by saying subscribe to the page if you're listening to this. We have some exciting stuff coming up. As if some of you may not know, this is the Texas division for Marvin Allen and the Doug Pack. We are his team of investigators in Texas, and just to give you a little overview of what we do, we go into the woods and investigate mysterious sightings. Some of us have had encounters and mysterious sightings. Some of us are new, but what we want to do is create an environment for everyone who has an encounter or who has an experience to be able to come on and share their experience or encounter without ridicule, judgment, or mockery. We are so family oriented. We never judge and we never mock, and we always listen. A lot of stuff that we do, if you ever seen Marvin's channel, which I highly recommend to subscribe to, is he tells true encounters from eyewitnesses that contact him. And the Texas division, which is I like to call TEAMS, which stands for Texas Encounters and Mysterious Sightings, we are doing that same thing here in Texas to help Marvin out. Because, of course, y'all know Marvin is a very busy man. If some of you don't know, tune in and listen to his material that he shares on his channel. It is awesome. So, what we like to do is go out into the woods and investigate. We like to listen to encounters. We like to share encounters. Marvin, every Wednesday and Saturday, has a Q&A live stream, which you can come on and share your encounter. We talk about all kind of cryptids, not just dogmen, not just Bigfoot. We do a little bit of everything. And that's what makes us so different from everyone else. And a plus to that is that we like to put boots on the ground in the woods. So that's another thing that makes us different from everybody else. We just don't sit behind the keyboard and pound away and just talk about it. We actually go out and investigate. I myself, I have property where I live, and just about every time I go out into that property, I'm getting some kind of different evidence, some kind of different footprint, hearing different noises, wood knocks, growls, whoops. It's just amazing. And that's some of the information that we want to provide to y'all and show y'all that what is out there is out there. If you have a chance to tune in to Marvin's Q&A, that is also highly recommended. I am a moderator for Marvin's Doug Pack, and I can tell you we just have an awesome group of people, and we just want to share our experiences and give people, the place to share and the confidence that they can come on and share without being ridiculed. So, a little about us. Like I said, we investigate in the woods. We use some of the state-of-the-art equipment, night vision, thermal equipment, audio, visual. We also use trail cameras. State-of-the-art trail cameras. Some of the trail cameras we use can be monitored via cell phone, which is awesome. It's a great tool to have, and I really recommend it to anybody who is an investigator to use one of these trail cameras, they are great. They are great. So, this being the pilot episode for teams, I cannot say more that I'm excited to be doing this right now. I just purchased podcast equipment, and I am still trying to get used to the equipment, still trying to figure it out. But this pilot episode is kind of the starting point for us and helping Marvin out in his endeavors. Like I said, this is the Texas division, which his channel is the father channel, and everything we do, all the evidence we get, we filter through Marvin, and then once Marvin and everyone else studies and agrees, then we will post it to our group. And if you're not a member of the pack, man, please join, because we get so much great evidence, so much proof that these things are out there, and it's just amazing. It's an amazing group to be a part of, guys. And of course, when we're not doing the Wednesday and Saturday Q&As, Marvin does upload episodes to his YouTube channel, which is True Encounters with Marvin Allen in the Doug Pack. And man, they are awesome. He gets so many eyewitnesses, and we want to do everything we can to help promote Marvin and his channel and our division down here in Texas. So, without further ado, I'm going to give y'all a little taste of how we do things, and I'm going to give y'all an encounter. And this encounter was in May of 2004. And this encounter happened about a half mile from where my current property is, where I'm getting all my evidence. So this encounter happened on a little 9-hole golf course at a night golf tournament. And the eyewitness that told me this encounter used to work at that golf course as a pro shop attendant. She was working the golf course that night for the night tournament. And the night tournament usually started around dark, which was about 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock at latest, and would end anywhere from around 10 to 10:30, depending how many teams were playing. Well, that particular night, everyone finished up around 10:30. Everybody went home. So she's cleaning up, taking out trash, putting the folding tables back up, counting the money in the register at the pro shop. Just doing all the usual stuff someone would do at the end of the night when closing up a facility. So at around 11:45, close to midnight, she starts rounding up all the golf carts. And she starts taking the golf carts to the cart barn, which is about 175 to 200 yards away from the pro shop. Now, this golf course is in a secluded area in an old town. It's an old sulfur town that was built to the late 1920s, early 1930s for the old sulfur plant that is near there. Back in 2004, there wasn't that many houses, because back in 1993 the sulfur plant closed down and the company town turned into a ghost town. Well, as the years progressed, people started buying lots and eventually building houses out there. So in 2004, there wasn't that many houses down there. There was maybe a dozen houses out there. So with only a dozen houses being out there, that place gets very, very dark. So she's taking golf carts to the cart barn, and the only light that she has is at the pro shop, which makes a circular parking lot, and it only lights up the front part of that parking lot. Behind that pro shop is a huge clubhouse, which was built for the sulfur plant back in the 1930s to be used for plant functions, some recreational events. And this clubhouse was huge. It was about 30 foot to the ceiling, and it sat in between the pro shop and the number 4 tee box. And right next to it was a group of trees. And it was just a weird layout, because right in front of the pro shop on the opposite side from the clubhouse is the number 1 tee box. So she's putting up carts, and she calls her boyfriend and tells her boyfriend, hey, I'm almost finished. Why don't you head this way to come pick me up? Well, the boyfriend told her, I'm already on the way. I'll be there in a few minutes. She's like, okay. So she gets the golf carts put up, secured, doors are locked. And instead of walking down the road, she walks right across the street and goes into the driving range. Because if you walk down the street, there's no lights. There's no street lights. It's completely dark. If you walk across the street to the driving range, there's just a little bit of light being put out by the light at the pro shop. So she decides to go that way, not wanting to walk in the dark. So she walks across the street. She goes through the grass. She's walking on the driving range, and as she looks at the clubhouse, she stops, and it looks like something's or someone is peeking around the corner at her. So she closes her eyes and opens her eyes. And she's trying to readjust. Maybe her eyes are playing tricks on her. So as she opens her eyes, this figure is still there at the corner. So she's staring at it. And all of a sudden, this figure slides behind the corner and disappears. She did not know what to think at this time, because there shouldn't be no one out there. Everybody went home. So the first thing that went through her mind, maybe it's one of the guys who's maybe had a little too much to drink and he's playing a joke on me. So she looks in the parking lot, and there's no cars in the parking lot. Where her car usually is, there's no car. Her boyfriend's on the way to pick her up. So she's standing there, and as she's looking at the corner, she takes a couple of steps closer, and this thing peeks around the corner again. But this time, when it peeks around the corner, she sees a hand come around the corner, and the hand is placed on the wall around the corner. Now, when she told me this, she gave me a description of what she saw, and she said what she saw was a huge, hairy hand. At this point, she didn't know what to think. She was frozen where she stood. Now, all these things are going through her mind, and what she told me next is what just about every Texan would do in some situation like this. She was saying her mind told her, just throw your arms up, run at it, and scream. So that's what she did. She threw her arms up, ran at it, and said, "Ah!" When she did that, she says she seen something that she could not believe and that it haunts her to this day. She said this figure stepped out from around that corner and jumped straight up into the nearest tree. Straight up into the nearest tree. Now she's watching this entire thing happen, and she said when it jumped in the tree, you could hear it. It sounded heavy. And when it landed in that tree, and now this is a big tree, y'all. This is a big tree. It's not no little 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inch sapling. This is a big tree. It's a big oak tree. It jumped straight up in this tree, and she heard it. And when it got in the tree, she said the top of the tree started swaying. She knew it was heavy. She knew that thing was big. And she said when she seen this thing get in the tree, it turned around and looked at her. And when it looked at her, she seen a pair of huge red eyes that looked straight through her. Didn't look at her, looked straight through her, piercing her. And at that point, she told me she was overcome with fear. She did not feel safe. She did not know what this thing was. So her natural instinct is she ran to the pro shop. She ran, sprinted with everything she had to the pro shop, overcome with fear. And she said when she got in this pro shop, she opened the door, closed it behind her and locked it, and turned on the light into the pro shop. Well, she tried looking out the window, and of course, anyone who's ever been in the dark knows when you've been in the dark for a little while and you turn on the light, it's going to blind you. You're not going to be able to see out of a window. Your eyes got to readjust. And that's exactly what happened. So she whips out her phone and calls her boyfriend. Hey, where are you at? There's something out here. I mean, it's in a tree. There's something out here. And he goes, I'm almost there. I'll be there in just a second. I'm rounding the curve at the number 4 green, which is about 380 yards from where this creature was in a tree. He's coming around the curve. So as she's on the phone with him, she sees his truck at the end of the driving range coming down the main road. He starts taking a right to come to the golf course. And as he's pulling up to come into the parking lot, he stops. His truck just stops. He stops. He opens the door and gets out and starts pointing. And as this eyewitness is coming out the pro shop, she can hear him say, "What the is that?" She runs to the truck. Do you see it? Do you see it? He goes, yeah, I'm looking right at it. What in the hell is that? And as she makes it to the truck, they're looking at this thing and they see these big, huge, red, piercing eyes. And she's like, I don't know what it is, but it's hairy and it's big and I just want to go. I want to get out of here. So as they're getting ready to get in the truck, they say this creature does something that is just unexplainable. This creature from the tree it was in jumped from that tree to the roof of the clubhouse. Now this is a 30-foot span from the clubhouse to the ground. So we're maybe looking, I would have to guesstimate half the distance from the ground to the clubhouse, which is 15 feet. So this thing probably jumped 15 feet from this tree onto this clubhouse roof. And she said when it hit the roof, you could just hear it running across that roof like, and it was just running, just sounded so heavy. And then she said it ducked down and they couldn't see it. Now at this point, both of them have no clue what this creature is. And after seeing it jump from a tree to that clubhouse at about 15 foot from a tree, they hop in their vehicle and they got the hell out of there. So she went home. She had to come to work the next morning to open up the golf course. And when she got to work the next morning, and this is what she told me, she was scared that she was going to see this thing again. So she got to work. At the time, light was just breaking. Daylight was just breaking. She got to work. She's driving up real slow. She didn't see anything out there, so she goes into the clubhouse and starts doing her morning duties. And as the morning goes on, one of the maintenance guys comes in from the golf course to get a drink. And what he told her next made the hair on the back of her neck stand up. He said at the tree next to the clubhouse, which is the tree this creature was in, about a 10-inch in diameter branch, about 20 foot long, just fell straight down onto the ground. And he said that this thing didn't fall or break from being rotten, because mind you, this is a live tree. This is a live oak. And oak is hard. He said this thing was broke off, and the wood was still white from being so fresh. And when she heard that, the hair on the back of her neck stood up. And from that point, she kind of had an idea of what she saw. That was her encounter. Truly terrifying. When I spoke to this eyewitness, I could hear the compassion and the fear in her voice. And there was a few times where during this encounter that she was telling me when I was on the phone with her that she started to cry. And that is truly terrifying, y'all. Truly, truly terrifying to experience something like that. So this was her encounter. I'm going to leave this one here for y'all. This was the first pilot show. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully there'll be many more episodes to come. Like I said, if you like this type of show or you like what was done here today, please hit that subscribe button. Join the team's Facebook page. Also, if you join the team's Facebook page, don't forget to join Marvin Allen in the Doug Pack. That is such an awesome group of people. We love hearing y'all's encounters. We love sharing it. And if you don't want to share it on the Q&A, just tell it to Marvin and he will tell it for you. Amnesty is our biggest concern. We will never give your name or the location of your encounter. Everything stays safe. So with that, I want to say thank y'all. And that is the end of this pilot. This is Lieutenant, signing off.